Hi, welcome back. In this lecture, I want to describe how to take a library that is being written and compiled in C or Fortran and then embedded into our Python code. So we want to have a Python code that is capable to call a library, for instance, in C. I will focus mostly on C-like library. By the end of this lecture, we'll be able to compile a C library to be used from a Python code. You will be able to list different approaches for including C foreigner function in a Python code. And then we'll look at two approaches for including foreigner function in Python code. The first one is called C types, and the second one is called CCFI. And it will both allow us to call a C library from a Python code. So why we need to use a function that are not written in Python directly, so-called foreigner function? Well, sometimes the automatic solution, they are not what we wanted, and we want to write C or Fortran code ourselves. There are basically two reasons why we might want to do that. The first one, we might want to do extra optimization that is possible to do only in certain language like C or Fortran. One important part for optimization that are only available on other language, not in Python. The second reason is that we might have already this library written in C or Fortran, so we want to call them from Python. So we will need a way to call this from a Python code, and that's why we need foreign function interfaces. I want to focus on the example of 2D diffusion problem, so that we be working on for our NumPy, and we saw different optimization. The optimization I want to see today is really have a function that is implementing in the C language the most computational heavy part of the code. As you remember, the function was called evolve. What I want to do is to write in a C code, make a library. Library have typically .so extension, and then call this library and this function from a Python code. So if we write a code in C to calculate the evolution of our diffusion equation, we can write something like this. So we get as an input, we get the input array, the output array, and then the diffusion coefficient, and then here we have delta t. Then in C we describe at the beginning of the function, we define the type, and then we have a nested loop in C to calculate the Laplacian and calculate the output vector. This is quite a simple code, and I just did it. This is simple C to perform the evolve function. So now the problem is that I have this C code, and I want to make a library and then call it from a Python. So the first step, so we wrote this C code. The next step is actually to make a library. To make a library, we need to follow two steps. First, we need a GCC compiler or any compiler, C compiler. The first thing we need to do is to create an object code that we call diffusion.o. So we do GCC. Let's not forget this -03, that is the maximum optimization from the compiler, and then we ask to follow the standard new 11, and then we give a compilation flag and then the name of the source. This will create a diffusion.o file as results of the compilation. Now what we want to do as a second step is to take this diffusion.o, that is the results of the first step, and make a library that will include this function. And then we call this library diffusion.so. So it's a shared library. We can place this final shell library anywhere that is accessible to our Python code. In many organizations, there is the convention to put in under user./lib or user local lib. So that's the place where all the libraries that we're going to use are placed. I want to go through quickly 3 ways to couple Python and C code. The first one is probably the most common one, is called C types. And then we're going to look at an approach called CFFI, that is C Foreigner Function Interface. And then just want to spend a few words about emerging way to couple C++11 and Python code that is getting a lot of attention recently. So let's focus on the first approach. So that's the most basic Fourier function interface in Python is through the C types module. So we will need to import the C types. The bare bones nature of this module can be quite convoluted sometimes, so it requires quite a lot of lines of code, because basically we are in charge of doing everything, but also make sure that everything is correct. So this extra level of complexity is evident in this code that is just showing how we can call the library, the function within the library that we just compiled. So let's look at it more into detail. So we do the import C type, we define the grid shape, and then the very first step using C types is to import our library. So we do underscore diffusion C types dot cdll, parentheses, and then the name of our library. So from this call here, we get this underscore diffusion object that contains all the members that the shell library contains. An important point that I want to make: when using C types, we need to take into account that C is a statically typed language, and the function has very specific signature, typically included in the header file. So we need to specify the type of the arguments, what is the output of the function. So we must explicitly set the input argument types and the return type, right? Because we need to follow a very specific signature. Another important point is really that we need to convert any data to some C type. So this conversion is also called casting. So every argument that we send to the function of our library must be carefully casted into a native C type. So here we just create some reference to the C type. Just we define, just for being more concise, type int, type double SSS, and these are C type. And then we define here the signature, and here we actually doing the casting, right? We do the casting to C type. So here also we need to do this casting from to the pointer. Once we have done that, we can actually call our library that is called diffusion, and then we have the evolve function in it. So we just do underscore diffusion.evolve, and then we provide exactly the argument that are being casted to C type here and here. So this is one approach, very common, but also a little bit difficult. In order to simplify C types, CFFI was introduced. So CFFI attempts to simplify many of the standard operations that the programmer uses. If you compile it, so if you install it, compile it, you will see that it's going to install internal C parsers that can understand the function and the structure definition. As a result of this, we can simply write the C code that defines the structure of the library we wish to use, and CFFI will do all the heavy work for us. what it will do, it will do this heavy work that is importing the module and making sure that we specify the correct types to the results function. So this is the code, our Python code calling the evolve function from the diffusion.so library. As you see, is largely simplified. First, we create an FF5 object with this function here and give it a global C declaration we need. So we define our function. And so we do ff5.cdef, so we do the declaration, and then we give the signature. That is the function we have, the index file. Finally, we can import the shell library containing the actual implementation of the function by using ff5.dlopen. Remember here we need also to say where is our library. In this case is two libraries on the top of it. And then ff5 in the evolve evolution allow us to cast it to the C type, so now is much shorter, and we just need to cast it the 2 pointers to the grid and the out arrays. Finally, we can call the library. We call the evolve function, and we give the pointers of the grid and the two diffusion coefficient at the time step. Finally, I just want to spend a few words about PyBind11. In all the previous examples, we use the independent shell libraries written in C and provide Python bindings to turn them into modules. PyBind11 takes the opposite approach, so it goes from C to Python and provides a C++ API for binding C++ classes and functions and for generating Python module from the C++. PyBind11 is a C++ only, so we cannot use C, and uses the latest C++ 11 feature, so use some of the advanced feature. This also means that if you have a C++ compiler, it needs to support C++ 11 in order to use it. PyBind11 is becoming more and more popular, and in fact TensorFlow uses PyBind11 to expose functionalities in its Python interface. One added advantage of using PyBind11 is that the underlying data and types coming from Python, such as NumPy arrays, can be easily handled. This is my last slides. To summarize, for optimization of lack of certain libraries written in Python, we need to use libraries written in other languages. And in Python, we have so-called interface for Fourier function. Fourier function interfaces give us access to the code written and compiled in another language, such as C or Fortran. C types is the most common approach for Fourier function interface, but it's cumbersome. It takes many lines of code. CCFI simplifies C types and overall approaches for Fourier function to use C libraries. So it's a quite good approach to that. Finally, I spent a few words about PyBind11, that is an emerging approach that is following an opposite approach with respect to C types and CCFI. That is starting from C code and then generating the Python module. This is the last slides, and talk to you soon.